This is session one of A Spoonful of Courage for a COVID Christmas. Who would have ever thought that we would be facing these kind of tensions and stresses at Christmas? But I want to remind you, first of all, that COVID is real. And I have seen people who have gotten COVID and gotten very sick, and some even died because of their family members being in close proximity to them. On the other hand, we see the reverse. And so I'm not here to tell you what to do. Once again, I'm here to give you a framework of things. Once again, we want to be safe, and we don't want to major on the minors with our family. We want our Christmas to be positive, and we want to express love and devotion to our family. And yet at the same time, we want to be safe. So here's some ideas to think about before you travel. Number one, pre and post travel quarantine. That would be 14 days pre and post. That's a big sacrifice to see people, but it's a possibility that you need to consider. We're going to talk a little bit about communicating with expectations with your family, finding out what people want ahead of time. Even getting tested sometimes can help in certain situations to know that you're negative with COVID, or that your host are negative, or whoever's negative may make a difference. Trying to stay local. Once again, the CDC recommends this. One of the big concerns is getting on an airplane in an airport and getting COVID in the airport before you go see people. Either driving may even be safer than flying, so consider that option. Once again, being creative, maybe opting for some kind of outdoor get-together. We call it for Thanksgiving, we call it a Texas turkey tailgate. Think about the space that you're going to be in and the number of people. Once again, I don't think the government's going to throw you in jail if you have more than 10 people, but think about those kind of things. You're going to have to be very sensitive to your family members about hugs and limiting contact, especially depending upon how comfortable they feel with the coronavirus. And then also the possibility of going virtual with a Zoom meeting or something. But I want to focus on something greater. Just don't get so tunneled focused that we lose the big picture of what Christmas and the holidays are for. So here's the first question I want to ask you, and I want you to stop and I want you to list your priorities. What is the most important thing as far as your family and the holidays for Christmas? Is it your health? Is that the primary thing? Or is it more relationships, or is it something else? Everyone's situation is a little different. Perhaps you have a family member that this may be their last Christmas, whether they get COVID or whatever, that they're probably not going to survive the next year. And so you want to put that little piece into your equation as you're thinking about that. You may have all healthy family members, and it may not be a big issue for you. So thinking about all those things, but I want you to sit back and list your priorities. And then answer question number two. I want you to brainstorm out of some of these things that I've listed, some creative ways that you can create a win-win experience with your family. Whether it's a Zoom party, Texas tailgate, getting checked for COVID. But it's one of those things you're going to need to communicate with your family about. And that's the next question is with whom are you going to communicate, and what are you going to communicate with them? I think it's always good to start with a question and then answer this question. Think and prepare for the battles that you may face with your family. How are you going to handle those conversations about getting together? There's one thing for sure. You don't want to create any relational friction or anything that would, hinder your relationship down the road. So think about that. List some ways that you can respond to your loved ones' fears and doubt about coming or about not coming. And the last question is this. Think of some ways that you can communicate your faith and your love to those in your family. In some situations, not showing up may be a greater expression of love than showing up. So you really have to think about that and think about your specific family relationships and dynamics before you make that decision. Here's your final question, and this is a scripture that I want you to meditate upon. I want you to read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. And it talks about love, how love is patient, love is kind, it's not jealous, boastful, arrogant, rude, it does not insist on its own way, it is not irritable or resentful. Go look at all this and focus on verse 7. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. You know, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I reasoned like a child, but when I became a man, I gave up childish things. Verse 11. I want you to think of this as regarding your family, maybe some of the family dynamics that you have, maybe some of the clashes that you have with your family. How can you, according to this passage in 1 Corinthians 13, how can you express love in your family this Christmas? I'll see you in session 2.